Well, first up, government has set December 19 this year as deadline for corporate bondholders who want to exchange their financial instruments under the debt exchange program. This was captured in an exchange memorandum document released by the Finance Ministry. George Affe has more on the offer to investors.
Government in this document is asking institutions with interest in papers like the ESLA and Dutch bonds that they have up to 4 p.m. on December 19, 2022 to carry out this exercise. That is the exchange of the current bonds that they are holding with the 4 new government papers that the Finance Ministry will be issuing as part of this debt exchange program. The ministry in the document is insisting that this exercise is not targeted at individuals. The ministry on December 20, 2022 will give details on the number of offers that has been presented and which ones it will accept. Government will also come out with a strategy on how the settlements will be done for these new bondholders. The Ministry of Finance has maintained that it needs to undertake this debt exchange program to help stabilize the economy. It adds that this exercise will be voluntary. The Finance Minister stated that this program, if successful, will result in government saving more than 136 billion Ghana cedis just for next year. However, some analysts are worried about how this move, if not handled well, could affect confidence in the entire financial sector in the country.
While the Chamber of Corporate Trustees has rejected the debt exchange program proposed by the Ministry of Finance, according to the Chamber, the proposal put forward by the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, is inferior to market expectation and will destroy the savings of Ghanaians and further undermine market confidence. Thomas Esso is Executive Secretary of the Chamber.
Pension funds are our own earned income, that a portion of it have been taken and then put in a fund, a retirement fund, so that when you go on retirement, you can have access to those funds and then have a certain level of standard of living, or to be able to meet your cost of living when you are not earning any active income. And so the approach that government have taken, we believe that it will not help contributors, and that is why we have rejected government's proposal. As of now, none of us even know how that liquidity provision program is even going to work. We don't even know what is the modalities. We don't even know how do government even provide this liquidity to help us so that the business do not is not affected, or contributors or pensioners who want to withdraw their money are even affected. So we don't even know the structure. Just like we also don't know what was going to be involved in the debt exchange program, only to be informed on Friday and to be announced on Sunday. And I believe that if we all can see what is going to be the structure, we can also make our contribution, because the pension fund industry is a very complex and sensitive industry. You know, the monies that we receive are not our monies. They are the monies from workers whose part of their salary, 5% or even more, have been deducted and remitted to us. So it's not our money. And therefore, if you're not very careful and we don't understand what it is, as at now, I've heard the Deputy Minister say that when I was even at the meeting, that was also said, but we don't even know what structure this liquidity support is going to be. So we don't even know how it's even going to impact positively on the operations of the pensions industry yet.
Well, joining us on Zoom all the way from Andrews University in the U.S. is Professor Williams Pepra, Associate Professor of Finance. Good afternoon to you. It's morning where you are. Does the Chamber of Corporate Trustees have the basis for rejecting the debt exchange program?
Good afternoon, Daryl. Let me say that the Chamber, if they are acting, what normally they act with what we term as fiduciary duty, they must act with care. They should understand what has happened in Ghana. I normally want to give some data that they should really appreciate what is happening in Ghana. So, according to Bloomberg, bonds that will be due in December 31, 2022 and June 2023 for local bonds. If government is supposed to go ahead and pay, government will need 43 billion Ghana cedis. in June 2023, Euro bonds that will be due, that is on coupon payment, is $663 million, where we find ourselves as a country, the government is not in a position to pay. Simply put, government has reached the solvency point. The only mitigation for government to restructure or reprofile the bond arrangement to meet IMF requirements is this kind of arrangement. Government is facing, I'm not speaking for government, but I'm just being academic and speaking to a fact.
Right.
Government is facing what we term as sovereign risks. Anybody who purchases a bond from a government, you are one of the things that will be stated on the prospectus, that is on the risks element, is sovereign risks. Sovereign risks means that government may decide to default and not make the payment. So if you are the chamber of corporate trustees and you are saying that you are going to reject government offer like this, what it means is that you want government to default or not pay your bonds and interest when they are due. What are you going to tell your people who have put you in that position? So it is in the interest of everybody to take a loss, a loss in reduction in interest payments, so that you'll be able to even get back your principal. That is care. So the Chamber of Trustees going on that line, it will not really support and it not benefit the people they are holding trust for.
So we know right now that, the government has set the deadline of December 19 for the corporate bondholders to accept government's offer. And we are told that this is voluntary, but right now it appears that they have no two ways about it. And that's what you say, that right now they do not have a choice but to accept it, or else they are in for a loss, right?
Yeah. So let them understand, when they go to court right now, if government defaults and they take government to court, government will just bring the prospectus of the bond and say that we stated that there is sovereign risks attached to this bond, and we have suffered a sovereign risk. No court will rule in your favor. And it means that you would have lost all your money, because government will decide when to pay you. So it is in their own interest now to take what has been put on the table. And then if they have a challenge, they now will have to go to the fund which has been set by government for liquidity support. That is the fiduciary duty of a trustee. They should act with care. Similarly, it goes for the trade union associations who are agitating on pension fund. I have given the figures. December and June 2023, local bonds that will be due with interest and principal is 43 billion Ghana cedis. Where is government going to get the money to pay? So I don't understand why maybe government spokesperson are not really prepared to give the figures for people to know the kind of situation we find ourselves in. I'm sure that is what these entities or bodies are asking for. They want everything to be laid plain so that we all understand what is really happening. You just don't come in and make an announcement that you are doing this without giving out the figures.
Right, and we've heard that the Trade Union Congress say they're going to oppose it. But like you say, message is important. They need to understand what's at stake, and then that would inform their decision. But while we talk about the domestic debt exchange, government says external debt exchange parameters will soon be negotiated with the creditors. What would that also look like?
I mean, they have already given the indication of 30% cut on principal and interest. For the external lenders, they will really understand where we find ourselves. When they were purchasing government bonds, they were aware of the risks. Do you know the yield on government bonds now? It is 27% on the outside, on Euro bonds. So the higher the rate, the higher the returns. And in the prospectus which they purchased, they would have also noticed that there is that sovereign risk. So it is better for them to cut their losses by accepting what government will propose, especially if IMF gives them a backing that we are going to cede some of the 3 billion to pay off the euro bonds, because the major challenge to government is where government is going to find foreign currencies to pay the euro bonds. So if IMF is going to give $3 billion, government may decide to use some of the $3 million, which will go into the balance of payment, to pay off these euro bonds. And in that case, they are sure that they cut their losses, get out of the market, and they will be free from a sovereign risk. So these are the measures that probably will happen, and that will really work well for the country. They need to even take it now or leave it.
And so if we're able to do this, this means that we're really close to clinching a staff level agreement with the IMF. Is that what it is?
Yes, because then we have achieved roughly, so what IMF is saying is that give us a plan that you have put in place, reducing your debt to come into a sustainable level. So once they're able to show IMF by December that this is the plan, then IMF will agree that, okay, we understand the situation, the plan has been signed on by all parties, and we believe that we'll be able to follow it up. And also let us say that government will also show some commitment by reducing their expenditure, because the physical side is also important. People are angry because of all these things, that you're asking us to take some losses, but we are not seeing it in your budget where you are increasing your expenditure. So that kind of sentiment is what we really need. At the moment, investors must be patient. They must be patient, and government must be forthright with information so that people can make informed decisions.
Thank you so much, Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University, Williams Repart there. Always good to talk to you. Appreciate the education this afternoon. Now, government has assured it has measures in place to excuse every individual bondholder from the debt exchange program. There were concerns individuals who bought their bonds through banks could be hit, but Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kuma, disagrees.
Those are those that are registered with the Central Securities Depository, the CSD, and they have account in their personal name. So that's where you trace it from. And anybody who has bought bonds in Ghana, you have your data at the center, at the CSD. We know those that purchase bonds in their personal names and others that purchased through companies or institutions.
Okay, so that is a tricky one, because when you're buying a bond, you always will buy through your bank.
Yes.
So normally your account, you have money in your account, you instruct your bank to say, I want to buy a bond, and then they sort of buy and they give you a certificate.
Yes, but the certificate whose name is on it.
Okay. So if your name is on that certificate.
Exactly, then it means that you are the registered account holder.
Okay, so if that is the case, then you're not affected by the debt exchange program.
Exactly, you are exempted.
Okay. That will exist in contrast to institutional bondholders.
Yes.
Okay, so who are those?
Okay, so institutional bondholders are held by institutions other than individuals. So any bondholder that is not a person, as in human being with a name, then you are an institution. So it could be a bank or depository, anything.
And while the Deputy Minister has been talking about what will also happen to pension contributors whose funds have been invested in bonds.
You take opportunity to calm the pension fund teachers and other unions who are concerned about the impact of the debt exchange program on pension funds. The truth is that in the end, well, in the short term, they may be hit by, the pension funds may be hit by this exchange program in terms of the interest and returns that they were expected to receive. But in the long term, they know that government bonds has been a trusted partner all this while. But we are in a very difficult situation that if we don't work together to redeem the market, we may all crash. And that is where we are. It's like when you are sick and you have to take a bitter medicine to get better. it's difficult to take the medicine, but as you drink the bitter medicine, by the next day or two, you begin to get well. This is where we are. We understand the difficulty or the pain, as you put it, that they may have to give up something in terms of losses on their interest, but at the same time, they are helping to build a strong bond market for the future and for further better opportunities for investment for all the pensions that we give out. But the full assurance government is giving them is that their pension schemes will not collapse. Government has thought through and provided a buffer, and we are going to continue to have that financial stability fund with Bank of Ghana. So like the scenario you painted, if there is that liquidity challenge, you can always go to Bank of Ghana to apply for support from the stability fund.
All right, you're watching The Marketplace. We are heading now to Parliament where MPs are concluding debate on the 2023 budget. Kwawu Asante joins us from there with an update. And Kwawu Asante, we're hearing the Finance Minister was in the House today. Bring us up to speed.
Yes, so the Finance Minister, Daryl Kwawu, arrived in the chamber about 30 minutes ago. What is happening now is that both the minority and majority leaders are debating the principles of the budget statement and economic policy that the minister presented just about 2 weeks ago, and that will be a precursor to the approval of this statement before the appropriation and the specific estimates are dealt with. So the minority leader is on the floor now speaking about the debt restructuring. He is reiterating the stance by the minority that they will not accept this. They will not approve the 2.5% raise in VAT. They are not going to support the review of T-levy. He's still blaming the finance minister for the current economic difficulties. He says both the minister and the president have not accepted responsibility for the current mess. They should do so, and they should show some sort of remorse for Ghanaians to know that they appreciate the kind of difficulties they are in now. So when the minority leader finishes speaking, the majority leader will also come respond to some of the key issues and also sort of argue about why he thinks the budget, will put Ghana on a stronger pedestal in 2023 before MPs will be called on to vote. During the week, last week, when the budget was debated, a number of MPs did not show up, both on the minority and the majority side. The numbers are much more encouraging today because of the expectation that a question will be put on the approval of the budget. So there are quite a number of MPs already in the House ahead of that possible approval of the budget and economic policy.
Is there anything on the debt exchange program that has come up, or do you expect it to come up since the minority have indicated they were going to oppose it?
So there was a news conference this morning. Isaac Adongo, Deputy Ranking Member on the Finance Committee, calling on MPs and other well-wishers to support bondholders to sue governments in court. They say that government is unilaterally breaching these contracts with the bondholders. But we know that what government has done, what government has decided to do, is not to put this before Parliament. So they've done this on their own. So no law or no bill is coming to Parliament as of now that we know of to give sort of a legal backing to the decision to restructure these debts and recall these bonds and reissue them for later dates. So that is the kind of conversation we are having. We don't know yet if the minister will be presenting this before the House. But what we know also that given this is the last day of debate, the minister may be called upon to make some brief statements urging members to approve the budget statement. And we expect that he may make some statements regarding this debt exchange program.
And what happens after the debate is concluded today?
So the Speaker of Parliament will put the question in terms of how many members I expect or accept the approval of the budget statement and economic policy. We should state that the approval of the budget and economic policy does not necessarily mean the entire budget has been approved. What means is that the statement that the minister made to the House, the specific economic policies he put out, has been approved. What will then happen is that the committees of Parliament will now go into the specifics of the allocations that have been made to the various ministries, departments, and agencies, and then approve same. They can make slashes, they can make some tweaks to it. Before they will bring all this to Parliament, they will approve sector by sector before finally the entire budget, that is the Appropriation Act, will be approved before members of Parliament go on a Christmas break, which we expect to be 21st of this month.
All right, thank you so much, Kwawu Asante, parliamentary correspondent. We're just showing you the live pictures from Parliament as the debate continues. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu speaking currently. I don't know if you can listen in for a few seconds, hear what he's saying.
We'll cut it. Yes. 1.4 billion.
Honorable Minority Leader, you have 5 more minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I will stay within time. Then there is 10 million allocated for Ministry of Defense, for Defense Advisory Services. To do what? Take that one too off and go and give it to school feeding. Then, Mr. Speaker, Office of Government Machinery, you are seeking to increase the staff strength from 1,500 to 3,681. You are ballooning and wanting to blow the numbers at the Flagstaff House. Honorable Deputy Minister for Finance, go to page 230 of your budget statement. I brilliantly enjoyed the budget debates. And the Honorable Atachia, Chairman of the Energy Committee, was emphatic. I want to remind you today that that emphasis you place is a projection into the future and will hold the minister and you accountable. You said that it's $12 billion US. So, December 31st, 2023, Mr. Speaker, we will ask the minister to account to us the savings of $12 billion US of payments to IPPs. We will. Chief, it is a projection into the future. But we are saying that independent power producers whose contracts have expired, why do you want to negotiate with them? The contracts have expired.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu addressing MPs as they conclude debate on the 2023 budget. Will give you updates subsequently. Now to one of our top stories this afternoon. Some telecom subscribers and mobile money agents in Kumasi in the Ashanti region say the deactivation of SIM cards is adversely affecting their businesses and livelihoods. They lament their inability to undertake electronic financial transactions, which is further compounded by the blocking of calls, messages, and data services. A number of customers have thronged the premises of the telecom centers in an attempt to reactivate their SIM cards. After several hours of waiting in long queues, there has been little response from officials at the telecom service centers. Lab FM's Mona Lisa Frimpong gauged the mood at some service centers and filed this report.
Following the deactivation of the SIM cards, we are visiting some registration centers to assess the situation. And as you can see behind me, there's been mad rush at the So MTN Service Center, all in a bid for subscribers to get their SIM cards reactivated once again. We go over to speak to some of them.
Friday, you know, back on ever born. Me ya kwa no pere nyina na ekọ na yade yade ba bo be 3 afre me fra enko bi ntene kura me kwa adwuma kura manko me se me ba be ye me se me kura na me kwa adwuma manko nte ha me pa se adwuma kura me kwa benya kakra bu mbotuma o matwa sim to wa me ye so a nsu huhia so on so be fu be fro na yade yade
the baba ya how much be 5 na be gina ase omba ka twa me se network enya adwuma na aban ampu na ode bai se omofa register card na enya adwuma me so maye enti maye o me ba hia na baba enti how se ensa anya ye si anya ye na mo test message se ade na wo ye anya ye na me sa meye enti a metina sa na masa block mintimi nyiska ade ba ko ye hini se obi send scan so na mama na ba enso nipa ni so ntimi yi
me think that it's more than 3,000 medjuma me ye adwuma mobile money no na mutwa me kafa medjuma mu nyina bi ba mobile money bi ba mobile money bi ba mobile money eno an ye de ye adwuma wo hu na wo mu say register ya ba be ye registration no me Ghana card kita me se ayo omo so ya me picture that so enye adwuma omo scan me picture ne sa me ko omo office so na de ne nye adwuma ne me se dem register me sem no me si kan smart block ne me nye de ne medidi me nye de ne ma ye adwuma so
na nsa sister be work na ha say omo amfi kura to say oba say utu say scan go no so oba say work na oba so okoko wo o say jan correct to so ofia so ojo musika ahaya ahaya na work an o men feel safa ka ko oh the same say communication phone ya abaka ni pa abrabo ho oh the same yes I say no e mo ya chete rodo e say me ma e4 ba ko na sin tro o say ko iska me ko tia ni da yi ma wo ko e say o me fo so na ba ko iska da amana adi akọ
efiri be na awotwini ya bloko no ya pesika kura twaduane ya de ne nkwala na ya bloko no ya ba ya o mo say akufu ado ana bloko lan yesu yeji ya wudi say enya na rado ana bloko lan etisa na rado a yesra na da roma omla bonten emeka nche say ya na ya bono na bloko lan na yengu enyu wono so a o meka me entie na komde ye.
Those who are working for me, I have to pay them. I have to pay them. If you go there right now, they put pressure on me because of this. Because of this. How did I get money to pay them?
They need MTN for the omo network aka nyina obi anya sa. Edi enti na omo nko a omo si edien na omo pe dien.
Saturday no me ye call no nko. Bidia me bia enyo phone no so na bisa we ojuma ma mo se o ma twa ne chip we so se wa twa chip no enti me ko hwe true se mo atwa ana me sika da chip no so more than 6 million enti ama ha me kakra se mantimi an sika na me so akomedi me.
Despite government's good intentions for this SIM registration exercise, there have been major concerns raised as to how this deactivation exercise will affect government's expected revenue from mobile money transactions. For Joy News, Mona Lisa Frempong reporting.
You can check out other news headlines on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwawu. Thanks for watching The Marketplace. We will be back same time tomorrow.